This is Corner Talk.
What's up, guys? It is episode 10. I just got back from Miami a few days ago. Shit was a movie, man. It was a movie. I had a great time. Thank you again to Taco. Thanks again to Coach Jumbee for letting me pretty much be a fly on the wall for most of fight week. I had a great time. How was your week, bro?
Dude, it's been busy. We've been making things happen with the show. I love it. As you see, we got to talk to Coach Jumbee. We got big things happening. So super excited. We got gonna speed run this one a little bit. So it's a little not too much to take in all at once. Talking about last week's card, the prelims, and all that, and the interview. But other than that, super excited to get into it.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get into one of my favorite fights from UFC 327. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but there we go. All right. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but we had Chris Padilla, Taco versus Markel Medeiros. Yeah, man, I was looking forward to this fight. This was my main event, and I thought that Chris Padilla looked great. He went out there, he put on an unbelievable pace like he usually does. He consistently moved forward. He did get caught with a pretty nasty elbow towards the end of the first round that split him open. But I thought he threw a lot more volume. Fight looked like it was his. Going into the third round, Taco had gotten eye poked. I think it was in the second round the first time. And then in the third round, he got eye poked again. Markel Medeiros was deducted a point for that. There was also a moment in the third round where Taco was working on a takedown, was about to take the back, and Markel grabbed the fence, but the ref didn't really see it, so the ref never said anything. But it was a pretty blatant foul, and I thought that could have potentially changed the trajectory of the fight. But by the end of the third round, when the fight was concluded, I thought that Taco had done enough. I thought that, he was up comfortably on the scorecards, especially with the point taken. They go out there, they announce him as the winner by majority decision, and then 30 minutes later they say, oh no, we had the scorecards wrong. It was ruled a draw. Taco has since put in a formal request or a protest with the Florida Athletic Commission, so we'll see what comes of that, but it was still a great performance for Taco. Both guys are still technically undefeated in the UFC, and I still think that they both showed out. Much respect to Markel Medeiros. He looked great as well. He landed some big shots, and I'm excited to see where both of these guys go in the future. I actually have a interview scheduled with Markel later this week, so probably by next week that will be out if you're interested in watching that. But how did you feel about this fight, brother?
I want to start off by saying Markel looked awesome. He did great. It was if Curtis Blades and Josh Hokett hadn't had so much of a build-up that whole week, I think this one could have probably been fight of the night. Like you said, a little biased. This was my main event. This was what 3 fights in, I'm already like, all right, let's go, and either way, I think it was a great fight. I think both guys looked awesome. I think Chris did win. He was the one who kept pushing. He was the one who kept advancing. He had more volume. It's just he outstruck him thoroughly. And then there wasn't really like any advantage in the grappling department. Anytime Markel would try to clinch or whatever, Taco would easily, turn out of it. I thought it was a great fight. I hate that 30 minutes after the fact, like, what is this? What's going on here? So I hope that whatever justice can happen for Taco. He's such a cool guy. I hate for that to happen to him. But still, at the end of the day, great fight by both guys. Both showed heart. Both showed why they're undefeated in the UFC thus far.
Absolutely. And we were actually going to have a taco interview for you guys. But unfortunately, yesterday when we tried to record, there was a lot of technical issues going on. And so we're going to end up having to reschedule that. But we did get an interview with his head coach, Coach Jumbee, a.k.a. Chris Culley. That was the man that, during the fight was yelling, Drake, and he's light skinned. So, it was cool to see Dean Thomas and Daniel Cormier give Coach Jumbee his flowers as well live on the broadcast. I thought that was pretty cool. But we'll have that interview for you here in a second, and we hope you enjoy that.
You'll find out what light skin really means.
Let's see if this shit works. All right. Yo, Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up?
Damn, bro, I don't know what the fuck going on. This shit has literally never happened. And
Yeah,
we get Taco on finally after all this fucking time.
Damn.
And the shit just don't want to work with him. I don't know.
Don't ask me. I'm gonna blame something esoteric or controversial. So I'll let
No, it's probably something esoteric or controversial. This is crap, man.
you know what I'm saying? Goddamn alien.
Fuck it,
Damn
man.
alien.
We gonna do an interview with you then. We'll just have to fucking
snap.
schedule.
Hold on, let me get tell my dog to stop Lola. I'm on a podcast, baby.
Nah,
Thank
good,
you.
man.
Sorry, my dog's being fit.
We love dogs. I got questions for Lola.
Yeah, she'll have answers.
I love it.
Yeah, man. How you guys doing?
We're good, man. Fucking been busy as shit since I got back from Miami.
Whoa. Yeah, I just woke up. Like I'm still on Miami time. Like I'm a few hours off. Still.
Bro, I've been late to work every day this week. I can't go to bed till damn 1-2 a.m.
Same.
I'm not getting up until fucking 8-9 o'clock almost.
Bro, I got to be up at 5 a.m. with these guys, and I just been zombie mode in it. Like, oh, guys, you guys run. Like, bro, I'm tired as shit. But it is what it is, huh?
I'm tired of shit is what wins you those belts, though.
Yeah.
That's what gets you there. That's the work that people don't want to do, and you're doing it. So that's how you know that hard work will pay off.
That's why I tell the guys, man, you gotta. Well, Taco knows. He'll tell you. You always gotta have something ready for the fight, guys. Man, it ain't money. It's sweat. It's blood. It's attrition. It's time up before the sun. It's time in the sun. Yeah, a lot of guys they neglect that part of the game, and then they wonder why, when the fight gets tough, they kind of fade or don't got it, bro. It's all in the training.
Everybody's good round one, That's how are you doing round 2, round 3?
Right. And can you survive damage? Can you keep the output going? And can you stay entertaining for your overlords?
Yeah.
Can you?
I mean, that's what it boils down to.
And for us, especially with guys like Taco and Emmers, even we got a kid coming up, Romero, Romero. These guys are just, I don't see a lot of them. I'll see a lot of fighters, but I don't see a lot of those 3 guys inside of those rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm glad you said something about that. That's one of the points I wanted to bring up to Taco was nowadays everyone is so balanced. This is the beautiful thing about MMA is it's such a new sport that it's constantly still evolving. There's still things that we're learning. And so Taco is kind of one of the things that fascinates me about him is he's a representation of this new generation of MMA fighters. And Jamal Emmers and this Rodrigo, I believe you said his name was,
Romero.
That's Romero. Yes. So, I mean, that's exciting. And what does it mean to you to be a part of that success and growth that these fighters are having? Because everyone's dangerous everywhere now.
Right. Man, that's a it means a lot, to be honest. Coming from where I come from, and where martial arts started for me, small town, little dojo, karate, judo, kickboxing instructors. We were watching UFC, hook and shoot, Cage Warriors, Cage Rage, anything we could get our hands on in the video store. And so I was watching, man. I was a kid, bro. I was trying to figure out how Frank Shamrock pulled that armbar, or how did Pedro Hizo take that angle on Barnett. Things like that really perplexed me as a kid, and then to compete, you can see things, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're cut out for you to do. And so there was a lot of reconciliation when my career was over, like, dang, I know what I should have done. I just didn't have the skills or the coaches, the time or the money. And shit, probably didn't have the build the way the divisions changed, because now at my height weight, I'm a small 45er. When I was fighting, I was a small 55er. And those are things you got to look at, like, oh, the whole game's changing. So to be a coach in it now is to be back on the front lines. I'm a student again. Looking at, once again, my idols become my rivals. I'm having to go back to the lab and really focus on martial arts. Not clout, not money, not that the percentages, not bets, not fucking follow shares. That's the young guys game. I got to look at what Greg Jackson's doing, what Matt Serra's doing, what John Crouch is doing. I got to look at what the retired fighters from the generation I was in and after are doing, because they're coaching guys at the high level. And it really got me fired up, man. So to be here, 40, coaching premeditated murders and having a very good success rate, a high finish rate, I feel good, man. But it's still work. It's still work. It still keeps me up at night. It's still like I have a really sunny disposition, but I want to beat all these guys. I want to beat them all. I legitimately think that they all have large glaring holes left in their styles that we should have buried a long time ago as martial artists. Legitimately. So like when I see a guy like Taco throwing tomahawk elbows, inverted punches, splitting shots, using footwork, mixing in his knees against untraditional striking points, using the pillars of Muay Thai and kickboxing as positive defensive tools, not as just style. Now I'm like, okay, now we're making traction, because now they know what we're doing. Now they see who the fuck's doing it. And they know it's coming out of a little garage. You know? And that was my big thing, was to once again jump back in the game and just, for lack of better words, fuck the system up. My question is, like, why can't they beat us?
Little
Why can't-
garage, big minds, big minds. I love the mentality of it. Sorry to cut you off right there. That's so exciting, your arts and your perspective of it, the holes that you see and how you're wanting to embrace it. And you do have an excellent finish rate.
Yeah, we it's mentality. It's the martial arts, the Bushido of it. These guys been getting up 6 days a week, running 6 miles and before 6 a.m. These guys ain't doing it. Look, these guys aren't putting 15 rounds on a bag. Directed rounds, coached rounds with an angry black dude telling you that shit's soft. That shit ain't good. That ain't gonna cut it. You ain't making no money like that. We ain't getting out the hood like that. That punch right there, take that shit to the back. That's Tito. We need Michael Jackson to the front. And when you tell these guys that, that's when they realize, like, oh, coaches, like, I'm serious. You think it's a game now. But throw that yee ass punch in front of the boss man and miss in front of a killer and see what he does with your opportunity. He's going to yank it from your soul. He's going to take your opportunity from your soul in front of your friends and family. And then you're going to sit there with the dumbass, this is the one thing I hate. Well, coach, sometimes you win and you learn. No, you win or you lose. You win or you lose. And that's definitive. And it goes in a record that stays tangible throughout history. So go ahead and accept it. But nah, in our gym, we win or we die.
Absolutely.
And if you die, and I didn't give anybody permission to die on my watch. My coach didn't give me permission to die when I was fighting. So I guess you just got to get up and keep fighting. Hence the zombies, you know. You got to get up and keep fighting, because if these guys think, and I'm really being serious. If these guys think that 20 plus years in the game for myself, plus Chad, plus Emmers, that we're going to let these boys get away with decisions and not staples and stitches, fractures and hematomas, you're insane. You're insane. And now I'm even like what's the Boondocks? I'm even more sick of. I want to get more darker, more blacker. Like, I want more pain. I want more pain. I
love this.
Yeah, I want these guys not to be able to make their next fight because they got to spend too much money on recovery. I want everybody to feel like Wrong Zoo. I still got Wrong Zoo's eye back here. He ain't came and got it. I sent it for him. I sent for him in China. Got it back here. Who was the last one? Bone Chicka Chicka Hips. Oh, Sexy Hips. Bob Fame. That man broke like a sex worker in Tijuana as soon as Taco got on him because he wasn't built for this shit. He wasn't built for this shit. Jai Herbert. English food sucks. All I gotta say about it. English food sucks. We went out there and we're underwhelmed because we knew of the legacy of the kickboxers out there. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the like guys like Medeiros. I love guys like that. I love that fight. That guy had a great fight. That guy went out there and put on a war. Did I like the kid for the 2 weeks I knew about him? No, I wanted to butcher every ligament. I wanted to pick him apart. Could I get it done? No. He survived. Did he win the fight? No. Was it a draw? Absolutely not. What does that do for a guy like me? It lets me know you're having a hard time figuring out how to beat us. That's the second 11-1, and we smoked them. We smoked undefeated guys. We smoked guys from whatever series, show, region. Don't give a fuck. So now I'm just like, personally as a coach, what do you guys got next for the kid? Who's next? Who can they seriously bring up here and instill fear? I think these guys should watch out for Taco. And I'm not just saying that as a coach. I'm saying that as a retired 20-year martial artist in 3 sports. I wouldn't want to fight a guy like Taco. I wouldn't want to, you know? And I'm glad I'm making them. It's a blessing I get to create them. I love being Dr. Frankenstein on that because Lord forbid if I was on the other side. What do I tell my guy? Well, we could try to chop his legs, but they're made of steel. Punch him in the head. We shot him in the head with a shotgun. He just kept walking through the door. Move. He took away my leg so I couldn't move. He's smart too. Oh no, that's a scary monster. So we're just gonna keep building. And then eventually when he's champion, me and Pat are gonna go on the show, you two, sir, with a joint. And I'm gonna say, I told you guys. I fucking told you guys. Like I told him in the regionals when I picked the kid up. I told him when I cut everybody I couldn't maintain the level he brought to the gym. And guys ain't doing it like this. There's a difference. So yeah, man, I feel really blessed to be able to another go around in the sport. One more time around the sun in the sport. This time as a coach. I got Fis Padilla as a fighter. Oh man, yeah, you can't look that in the mouth, man. I respect everything about it. I'm fearless in faith what this kid got's going, man. And I've made undefeated fighters, I've made world champions, Muay Thai, made world champions in MMA. Little have I ever met a guy that I'm not even afraid if he takes damage. Do you know how much pressure that takes off me as a coach? I know if my kid gets cut over the eye, he's gonna breathe. Mm-hmm. He's gonna harden up. And he's gonna walk this dude down because he said blood for blood. Let's see who has more left at the end.
Absolutely.
And it should give you a lot of confidence in him as a fighter. He's so coachable mid-fight. You know, you hear you screaming, light-skinned and all that, you know, taking advice. And, you know, that's got to be something you really got to love in a pupil, knowing that they're going to take what you say and heed it.
Yeah, the way he processes information is scary. Stuff that let's say Monday we had a workout and he didn't pick up a technique. By Tuesday, he's already like 80% making it a part of his toolbox. Because he went out after, thought about it, drilled it, worked on it. He'll hit me up about concepts. And I don't even know where he's coming from. So I have to stay on my toes because he'd be like, do you think there's enough surface area in the top of the thigh for like a heel kick, or is it all top of the foot? And I'm like, my brother in Christ, it's 11 p.m. Can you play some video games? Can I get some cheeks off the old lady, or do I really got to answer this right now? you know, and yeah, that type of mentality you have to constantly be able to feed, or you're not going to be able to do your job. It's going to evolve past whatever you got going on in your gym, in your system. And it's kind of what I saw what was going on with them before we picked them up. Just guys didn't understand they were dealing with a Conan, straight up. I was like, that's not a regular regional cookie cutter machine mill fighter. That's a barbarian with weapons on all limbs.
What's the
Nah,
damage?
right. And yeah, man, really too, when I see him and Jamal, like him and Jamal in camp together, two of the closest friends. That's like Taco's big bro. Emmers has been a part of like my fight teams, whatever I got going on for a long time. I base everybody on how they roll with Jamal. He's a crafty veteran. Him and Taco looks like a Godzilla fight in my house. It's I'm like, what's going on? And they're just in the pocket going, right? Idea for idea, technique for tech, not moving off the line. And I was like, oh shit. There's not a
Iron
lot
just
of
keeps
gyms
sharpening iron.
and there's not a lot of gyms that have those two styles that can roll around each other, especially at two weight classes. Because Emmers is a wholehearted boxer and wrestler with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His thing is boxing. I had to add Muay Thai tools to his game. But when you add Muay Thai to a boxer who can wrestle, it creates some very scary scenarios. And then you got a guy like Taco that's like, I don't care if you just uppercutted me in the face. I'm going to punch you back. Like, yo. And now a whole team of fighters built off two styles, building off each other in the room. It's beautiful, man. Like I have a girl right now that's undefeated with 3 finishes, making girls quit in the stool in Muay Thai. We have an amateur team that fights like they're pro because they train with Taco all day. And everybody thinks like we're in here doing voodoo or something. I'm like, I wish I knew magic. The truth of the matter is these motherfuckers train with Chris Padilla and Jamal Emmers every day. That's the magic of it. There's no deviation in their training. Not because they're amateur, they don't get treated less than. So imagine how they fight when they go out. They fight like pros, you know? And these are concepts that I'm really glad I get to see because as a fighter, I grew up in, we call it the tough system, the Wild West. Got to join the gym, got to know a coach who knows a guy got to know a guy, got to be sponsored by this guy. If not, going to be mad at this guy. Okay, now we're solid here. I had to do that whole shit. Now, I tell the guys, we fight anywhere we want. I don't care about the politics. I don't care about who the top dog is. They could beat you, then they could beat you. But let's see if they can fucking beat us. Because a lot of times they get caught up in a hierarchy of it. Oh, this guy, he's been at this show for 4 fights, coach. Everybody cheers for him. That means he's just had sex with 4 dudes in public. He's still the same dude. Let's go beat him up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's right.
I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought up the amateurs that you work with too, because one of the things that I wanted to say was if you were watching the broadcast on Saturday, you know, not only was Dean Thomas, who is a highly respected UFC veteran, has been around the UFC for a long time, was not only was he giving you your flowers, but Daniel Cormier, Hall of Famer, was also giving you your flowers and talking about how your style of coaching, like they loved it. They absolutely were amazed that you could yell from the corner, Drake, and, you know, like encompass that whole, you know, that whole like mentality that like, nah, we're here. We got this job to do. And not only are you hyping up Taco, but at the same time, you're putting those doubts in his opponent's head. Like, damn, why won't this fucking coach shut the hell up? Like, I'm trying to fight and you're in his ear, you're yelling across the cage. But my question was, how much more confidence does that give, you know, your other fighters, your amateurs, when they get to see like a teammate like that go out there at the highest level and put on an absolute masterclass?
I'm gonna be honest, man. We're all still trying to absorb it. Even me.
Mm-hmm.
Even me. I can't sit here and lie and act like, yeah, we knew. Nah, I knew we could win. knew he had a plan. I believed in the plan. I believe in my team every time, but to see it is something else. And the belief he's given the team, the city, LA to Gardena, IE, all the way to Vegas, all the way to Mexico. That's different, man. I'm still reconciling my feelings on being a moody, angry guy all the time and sitting in so much joy and appreciation and gratitude. Like, I can't even be upset about the whatever's going on with these scorecards. Why? Because I know that's the only way. The only way. The best. That's the best. That's the that was the grand shakeup, the banana peel. It wasn't beating us. Doesn't scare me at all. Doesn't scare my team. Doesn't scare the fighters. In fact, it makes them more focused. It changed the mantra of the gym. And instead of what can be broken must be broken, now it's we need sharper blades. We need sharper blades. If we can get that close, all we got to do is just sharpen them up a little bit. We just hit the wrong artery. We just hit the wrong part. That's all. And I'm looking at guys trying to figure out, we heard the conversations. They're trying to figure out how we're doing. You know how that's a confidence for me. Now, when they figure out exactly my madness, then I'm going to have some issues. But right now, they're chasing. They're chasing and they're hiding. They're chasing and they're hiding. And it is a culture. It is a mentality. We grew up fighting doghouse rounds, getting pickled, gym versus gym. Hell, we grew up gym crashing. What'd you say, homie? Bet, I'm going to your gym. Bet, let's just get it out the way. We grew up like that. A lot of these guys grew up on TikTok. A lot of these guys grew up in the house on the computer. Me and a lot of these guys grew up outside in the park doing $20 fist fights. $20. That means you have to walk your ass down the street, look at whoever the fuck was going on and say, I'm fighting this guy today. You know, and that's different mentality. So I can connect to a guy like Tuck. I can't do that with everybody. If I did that with Romero, he'd be like, Coach, what the fuck, man? I'm in the fight. You know, he's like, my bad, Romero. But the reason I can connect with Taco is because his mentality is, I will not stop. I will kill you. I'm going to murder you. There's not enough time to keep me from stopping this. He's perpetual pain constantly. So I got to remind him, why are we stopping? Why are we letting him bounce on the back foot? He can't even stand in there with you. He can't stand in there with you. His punches are grazing off your guard. If I say that out loud, I'm going to give Crouch, Ben, those guys good data in the corner. But if I say, Drake, this nigga's scared. That's cultural talk that Taco gets. This boy is scared. He doesn't want to stand in front of me. He's soft. He can't toe the line. He light scared. He's going to backpedal, drop step, and throw a shot. He's gonna get off the line and shoot a three. He's gonna break off the route and hit a slant instead of going deep. He's gonna take his foot off the pressure to stay pretty. If I say that out loud, now I have to deal with the tangibles of language. I don't want to deal with that. Do I want to piss those guys off in the corner? Absolutely. Everybody else is doing it. What's the guy from Vegas, Strickland's coach? He's talking to the fighters and shit. Yeah. I wish I would be across from him. Yeah, I'd shut the internet down. I'm pretty sure I'd make that man throw his microphone off and walk away. Because there's just levels to shit talking and there's levels to strategy. Right? I understand going into a fight that the skinny bald-headed black dude yelling ridiculous shit is going to piss off a corner. And I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it.
Well, it's the mental of it. That's the mental of it. And this is the best of the best. This is the utmost highest level of the highest regard of fighting. You should be willing to have that mental warfare. Yeah, when that bell's done, you shake hands. GG's, bro. What a fight. Right. We can be friends now. But up until then, you're trying to take half my money.
Right. And then you also got to be mindful not to disrespect the guy, which I did my best to not disrespect Markel Medeiros. I wanted to make it funny because That's not a guy that you make fun of. He's not a joke. He's a tough fighter, a good kid. He's a father. He's a mentor. There's guys that look up to him. Not guys to go out there and play a clown game. No, I had to get in Markel's head. That's a real killer. He listens to rap music. He's from the same type of neighborhood Taco's from. So I'm pretty sure somebody has tried him. Like, oh, he's soft. He likes getting that. Wow. If you hear that, it might throw you off the game plan, which was to watch the split, attack his legs, don't let him corner you, get out of their corner. These are things.
He did that. He chopped the hell out them legs. If you look at the significant strikes, I can see why Taco had a boot after, man. The amount of fucking calf kicks that he threw.
Bro, I had to buy the Fairtex pads. Well, shout out Jamal Emmers. Jamal Emmers bought these $700 Fairtex pads for my thighs and calves so they can destroy them with kicks. Because before we were just practicing that with shin guards. You know what I'm saying? Man, yeah. That whole camp was nuts, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was nuts. And then talking to the fucking guys, and I fancy myself a serial killer, and these guys are saying they're watching us. I was like, oh, okay. I told Taco, see, I told you we had to switch the language. And if you notice in the fight, I had to start yelling out elbow on her and Thai. I had to start yelling out Thai commands because they picked up that we were running a play that we do in our drills, and they called it by name. And I was like, oh, shit. They're trying to shut us down. Switch languages.
Can I expect to hear a Kamehameha call out in the next fight or something?
Hell yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest. If they keep letting Josh Hokett say whatever the hell he want, I'm gonna go out there like a come on, nigga. Something like, damn, can we get a bonus? Like, damn. I would start yelling out, nigga. Like, God damn, bro. And you know what's crazy about that, bro? And I ain't tripping because somebody's gonna pay. It's gonna be either we're gonna get a recompense or the next guy in the cage is gonna get his face peeled off. But the thing about it is that couldn't have happened to a cooler person, man.
You get what you put in. I very wholeheartedly believe that sentiment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you guys on the sound for some reason. But yeah,
can you hear us?
It couldn't happen to a nicer guy, man.
Yeah.
And that breaks my heart about that whole fight. Taco's probably one of the nicest, most genuine human beings I know, man.
Yeah,
so
what
I'm
I said
to
when
keep
it
a really good disposition and keep them fired up, but like, you know.
Can you hear us?
Barely. Sorry.
No, I apologize. I'll speak up more clearly. I do believe that what goes around comes around, and you get what you put in, and you guys are putting in the work. We see that. That's what makes us such big fans of Taco and his style, you know. So I definitely believe he's gonna get what he deserves.
Yeah, and if not, you gotta fight the guy. I feel bad for the guys that saw this shit. Listen, if I had to fight Taco right now, and they say you're fighting Chris Padilla, my whole press run would be like, hey, you know they robbed that man, right? They robbed you, man. Now, even though I'm fighting you, I'm saying, because like, he's pissed. You don't take away money from a kid trying to buy a house for his mom.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anywhere in it. Business, entrepreneurship, Wall Street, the hood, a horror movie, the guy buying something for his mom, if you're getting away from him, he's going to show you the worst versions of himself. I'm proud that he didn't crash out. I'm proud he didn't get over emotional. I'm proud we have proper management and representation that challenged this. So we can just wait and see. But I'm proud of him. I'm going to say that. I'm proud of him. I think all fighters should look at this scenario and take a big lesson from our kid talk, man, on class. Like, I don't think I would be able to hold it together. I don't think I'd be able to hold it together. I can't tell you, and as a dad with 2 kids, a mortgage, oh boy, would I be able to hold that together that night? Absolutely not. So I'm proud of him, man. I love that kid so much, and everything he's done, even passively for the city. It feels different outside now because Taco's fighting to represent. It feels different outside. I can say that, G. Like, yo, Coach Jumbee, when I'm driving, going to the store. How's Taco doing? Messages in Spanish. I got to translate. Genuine paragraphs of love. And so I'm like, if this is supposed to be what losing feels like, then I'm fine with it, or a draw. But yeah, I just can't really say enough about how blessed that kid is. And I think the world sees it. And I think they're going to continue to see it. I don't see anyone in that top 15 that we can't get past. None of them.
I love it, man.
You know?
I love it. I have one last question for you as well. How did you and Taco come together? How did y'all start working together?
Crazy story. So it was a LFA fight, I believe, it was an LFA fight. He fought one of my guys. He wasn't one of my guys. He fought a guy named Darren Smith. Me and Darren Smith were like pretty much battle buddies all throughout our career. If I fought a guy and I beat him, then we move past him. If I lost to him, Darren would fight him. Vice versa, just homies. Mm-hmm. And him and Taco fought a really long fight in which my guy lost. My fighter told me I lost this fight. And I looked at my boys, my homie at the time, like one of my best friends, like, yo, you lost? He goes, bro, I didn't win this fight. I said, bet, let's get up, let's hold our hands high. I'm cleaning him up. He's pretty busted up, and this is a solid kid, tough dude. And then they announced us the split decision winner, and my boy gets in the mic and says, don't feel like I won that fight. We felt like we just took a win from a regional kid on the way out. We were old dudes having fun, winning paychecks, going show to show like journeymen. And I went backstage to really apologize to him, tell him, hey, I didn't like this decision. We didn't politic here. Ain't got nothing to do with us. And he was on the ground, bro, pale, hyperventilating. They're putting ice on him, putting ice on his feet and hands. Idiot coaches didn't even have his chest, like ice in his chest or his head. They weren't getting his temperature down. They were just worried about what he damaged. And I told him, I said, hey, tough fight, kid. Sorry we took that from you. If you want to get it back, that's fine. Or I could train you for free, man. So my guy said, you beat him. You beat him. I can't in good faith walk out here and say I'm the war chief and I'm taking the W's like a bitch. I ain't doing it. So we lost tonight. We're going to tell everybody that. We did. And I said, come see me Monday, man. As I'm walking away, I asked his coach, what's up with him? Why is he all pale and shit? Like, I'm trying to maybe get a coaching thing, like maybe overtrained him. He had COVID.
Oh, damn.
He fought that fight on the back end of real COVID and took Darren Smith to a 15-minute decision in hell. Broke my fighter bad. It took me about a month and a half to repair that guy. And when he came to the gym, he had serious questions. I had serious answers. And I just told him, I'm jaded, bro. I've been in this business a long time. I've been in the sport. So if you're going to do this right now, where your career is at, it has to be a straight shot of pain. It has to be violence. You have to really kill Southern California's best. And you have to do it with the intention of this is it. This is it. This is the glass ceiling. This is the closing window you got to punch through to make it to the show. Mm-hmm. He did. We fought four times. Yeah, 4 times. Undefeated, all finishes. And he got to the show. And here we are.
It hasn't had a blemish since.
Hasn't had a blemish since. Yeah, man. And I wish I could sit here and be like, yeah, I'm the greatest coach of all time with the no. What it is a team dynamic, a proper team dynamic. Shout out to my coaches, Craig Buchanan, Romeo Rom, Savant Young, Pete Spratt, Pamplona, for teaching me what a room looks like. Not a cool ass space with bells and whistles. And nah, who's your dark horse? Who's your killer? Who's the captain? Who's the money man? Who's the guy that can make this shit happen every fight? Who's good bodies? Who are kids that probably ain't gonna fight, but will be in this motherfucker, and cultivate that into a space to where we can make champions. You know? So like, nah, I think I got a really good chance at bat with these fighters that I've been training. I feel like this is a really great opportunity to show that LA and California still make some of the toughest dudes on the planet. Regardless of how you feel about the blue hair, people are running around protesting all the time, or the political drama or the rap beefs, whatever you feel about it. When you come to Los Angeles, man, there's still fades lined up in the back. You can still catch a fair one in the street. You can still shake hands and smoke it off. You could still, it's still that culture here. So like, we're trying to bring that shit back, bro. It ain't soft out here. It ain't weird out here unless you go to a weird place. I'll tell you what, you walk into any one of these Los Angeles gyms, there's like 19 different styles of ass whoopings waiting for you. And so I want to crack that. That's what I'm here for. I want to get more of our local Los Angelinos and Californian dudes back to that old shit, man, that boom bap shit. We used to strike fear in the hearts of Vegas, in Arizona, New York. Now it's like, oh, California? Mm-hmm. What? You guys wouldn't even want to fight us here at Commerce. You guys wouldn't want to come and do the LFA or the Cage Warriors or the Bamas or they wouldn't want to do them in LA. You know why? Because you ain't no, and if your fight sucked, you get booed. Oh no.
As it should be. Well, that was
Well,
anyways.
yeah. I mean, it was a great interview from what we got before the connection was interrupted. That was Coach Jumbee, Chris Culley, professional fighter, now turned coach. Fun fact, he actually fought Bryce Mitchell on the regional scene. Very high-skilled Muay Thai guy. He has some great fights that you can find online. So I definitely suggest you go check those out, as well as give him a follow on Instagram. That was his handle, at warchief.jumbee. Great coach, great mind, super friendly dude. Thank you again to him for the hospitality while I was in Miami. He allowed me to pretty much just be there the whole time while Taco was, getting his last minute workout in, cutting the weight. And yeah, man, he really made my trip. He really made me feel welcome. He really made me feel like part of the team. So I owe that dude so much more than I can offer at the moment, but I'm glad we got to sit down and talk with him, man. I thought it was very insightful. We got a lot of information that, the general public may not necessarily get or know.
And it's always cool getting to pick someone's brain like that, dude. Like, it's so insightful. Like you said, it's especially, a coach for martial arts. This is, we can talk to the fighters all day, and the fighters, they try to do the best they can. And I know in a sense we're all learning the same stuff. It's just reps and all that. But the coach, the one who's actually analyzing the game and breaking it down and trying to find holes in the game, it's definitely cool to pick his brain.
Yeah. And we're definitely going to have him on again at some point. We've become good friends over the last year or so. So definitely going to have him back on at some point, hopefully after the next Taco win. And thank you again to Coach Jumbee. All right, we hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I know it was a bit long, but we had a great time. Unfortunately, it got cut short because more technical issues, but we got some good questions in, and thank you again to Coach Jumbee for coming on. Let's move on to the next fight. We had Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. Man, I was completely wrong. On the podcast last week, I picked Nate just because I thought, this is Cub's last fight. Maybe he wasn't going to, give it his all as much. It was a terrible take, in my opinion. Looking back on it, hindsight is 20/20, but Cub Swanson went out there. He looked amazing. From the jump, he was landing big shots. He got the KO, and what a fucking incredible way to go out and end your career. Shout out to Coach Ant, one of the coaches at Bloodline, which is Cub Swanson's new gym, for connecting with me while I was out there. Got to meet Jalen Turner as well. Had a great time. But how did you feel about this fight, bro?
I thought it was awesome. I love whenever fighters are able to get that little fairy tale. I know I was just talking a couple weeks ago about the Maverick and his send off or whatever, but I do love whenever vets get to have that fairy tale send off. You know, a round 1 KO. That's literally the Robbie Lawler ending, and you know he'd been looking great. Knocked out Billy Quarantillo the fight before, so I don't know. I called last week. I said that I thought he would get a knockout. Nate, that's 3 KOs in a row now. Granted, the other 2 were late in the fight, but Cub. He's the vet. He's been there. He's knocked out the who's, fought the who's. You know, I'm glad he was able to have that send off.
Absolutely. All right, we're only going over pretty much the fights that we want to talk about from 327. We're trying to keep it short. So this next fight, we can't not talk about it. Josh Hokett versus Curtis Blades. Media day, or weigh-in day, I'm sorry. I got to pretty much see everything unfold. I was right there by the media, and Josh Hokett was being the typical Josh Hokett character that he is. I think that he talked his way into, you know, a lot of hype. Like, everybody was talking about Josh Hokett all week. And this was a spot where he took a huge gamble on himself. You talk all that shit before the fight, and you go out there and you end up getting knocked out. You look like an absolute clown. And Josh Hokett went out there and backed up every single thing that he said. Amazing, incredible fight. He cracked Curtis Blades like in the first 30 seconds. Really the whole time it was Josh Hokett's fight. I mean, there was a couple of times where it looked like maybe he was fatiguing and he was getting a couple of shots by Curtis Blades, but like at the same time, who knows? It looked like he was also pretending to be hurt at times, and then the hand speed was there the entire fight. Cardio looked there most of the fight, and Josh Hokett is an absolute problem. I take back anything negative I've ever said about this guy. He earned a fan, and I'm not a huge fan of the whole character thing, but it was a great experience. I also got to meet him before the fight in the elevators, and he was a cool dude. Took a quick photo with him. But how did you feel about this fight?
No, dude, I absolutely love it. I love his character. I love everything about it. I think that this is what Colby Covington kind of wishes he could have done with his shtick. I feel like this is kind of like he was able to intrigue people and get people talking about him. And did he really trash talk Curtis Blades? Or was he just saying nonsense? He was fucking, mama, like, it's just crazy stuff. He would say something like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this guy, but he could have started talking about like his stutter or something, did he? Oh no, I take it back. Oh, that sucks. Yeah. I felt like everything I saw was him just being like, just random.
No, he made comments about Curtis's stutter.
Oh,
but
all right, well, I don't love that. But either way, I do love that he's able to get this traction and then still back it up. It's huge risk, as you said, and it was an entertaining fight. I thought Curtis was going to smoke him, but his energy right before the fight, I was like, Josh is making me nervous, man. He's a little confident. That's a big part of the fight.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this week's card.
I can't believe you talked about his stutter, dude. That's not cool.
It is what it is. But we'll start off on the main card this week. So we have first fight on the main card, Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. Huge step in competition for Gage Young. I mean, the guy's had some tough matchups in the UFC. Obviously, his Contender Series fight, he had to fight Quillen Salkilled, which is not an easy fight for anybody. And, he lost to Evan Elder. But Thiago Moises, veteran. You really have to put on a pace against this guy if you want to beat him. You have to land big shots, and you can't let Moises take you down or get your back because his jiu-jitsu is incredible. I got to lean Moises here. I just think that the experience, the very high-level grappling, I think he's going to be able to get it done, probably by decision. So give me Thiago Moises. How do you think this fight goes?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much exactly. This is a huge opportunity for Gage Young, but I mean that's all he's that sums up Gage Young. He's an opportunistic kind of guy. He wants to take his chance, and this is a big opportunity. I think Thiago, that's a very skilled guy for that's 13 fights and vet in Thiago versus your 3 fight in the UFC Gage Young.
Yeah.
But I mean you can't rule them out just based off of that. You haven't beat these guys till you fought them. So I wish Gage Young luck. But I think this is Thiago's fight.
I agree. All right, moving on. We have Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Karine Silva. Honestly, I think this fight is going to go one of two ways. Either one, Jasudavicius is going to use her size advantage, take Karine Silva down, take the back, and use that jiu-jitsu to find the submission or possibly a TKO. The other way I can see it going is Karine Silva, she's got good power. She's got great striking. And Jasmine is coming off a KO loss, I believe, right? That was her last fight to Amanda Furo.
I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So Jasmine is coming off a big KO loss to Amanda Furo where she was hurt bad. Karine Silva hits extremely hard as well. And if you're a hittable girl, which unfortunately I think Jasmine is hittable, I think that we can see Karine get a KO here. The only other option I think is Jasmine just wins by control time. She just wrestles her a majority of the time and holds position, and we get a slow, boring fight. But I'm excited for this one. This is a great scrap for the female flyweight division, and I'm looking forward to it. How do you think it goes?
I think that's a good point. Another thing that I think is worth mentioning is Jasmine's 37 years old. That's rough. And Karine, not only does she have power and knockout finishing capabilities just all around, her footwork is something I love. Every time I watch her fight, I feel like she's gliding. And, that sets up the power shots that much more. And I do definitely see Karine Silva KO being a possibility, but Jasmine's a pretty big favorite. She's the bigger girl. She could rack up some control.
I gotta take the underdog here, the value.
Yeah.
Karine, but
it's more fun that way.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if Jasmine goes out there and gets it done though. Should be a good one. Moving on, we have Mandel
Rat garbage
versus Jai Herbert. Honestly, I've never been big on Jai Herbert, and I say that with all due respect. Taco went out there, and it was a competitive fight, but Taco did enough to win. And I mean, like, the thing that people talk about with Jai Herbert all the time is that he landed that head kick on Ilia Topuria. Like, that's the highlight of his career, unfortunately, that people talk about all the time. To me, I don't really like that. And for a guy who's 37 years old, granted his opponent's 36, so I guess age isn't really going to make much of a difference here, but I don't know, man. I got to go with Mandel Nalo. I think that he's taken less wear and tear over his career. Jai Herbert's been around the ringer, and I just think sometimes Jai Herbert's striking is a bit slow, and it's like he doesn't put on that crazy of a pace, and I feel like Rat Garbage might be able to put on a good pace. And I mean, 8 significant strikes landed per minute so far since he's been around. I think that Nalo gets it done. How do you think this goes?
I want Nalo to win because I think it's cool, man. You know, because I believe he's training out of TriStar, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
believe
so he's from TriStar. It's a good gym. You know, what he said at his Contender Series fight, he's like, I'm already like a complete fighter or something. You don't have to worry about me getting ready. It's like, that's cool. I love the confidence for just, you know, the entertainment value and growth of UFC. I want him to get it. I think Jai Herbert's a tough one for your first go round.
Hmm.
Definitely competitive. They're similar builds, you know, big for 155. As you said, Mondell looks like he's going to be way more active. I Jai, he can just put out damage though. If he's slow, but if he needs just that one shot, as he showed with Taco and Ilya. That one shot that's a problem. But you know, I think Jai could get it done. I want Mendel though.
Alrighty. Also coached by Faraz Sahabi, so
Yeah.
I like Rad Garbage in it. But
Yeah,
moving
exactly.
on.
That's what I'm saying. TriStar is really a good gym, so it's like,
Yeah. Moving on, we have Kyler Phillips out of MMA Lab versus Charles Jourdain. Man, I like MMA Lab. Great fighters over there. And Kyler Phillips, you know, for a while was on a good run in the UFC. He looked good. And then he met Rob Font. And then he met Vinicius Oliveira. And, you know, he's kind of on a decline right now. The guy's still pretty young. He's only 30 years old, so he still has lots of time. But Charles Jourdain, man, ever since he changed weight divisions, the guy looks absolutely shredded. He's got good striking, amazing jiu-jitsu, nasty guillotine. And I just think that, you know, if Kyler Phillips can't wrestle Charles for 15 minutes and just, you know, hold him and get control time, I don't see him winning this fight. So for that reason, I like Charles Jourdain. I'm going to go with Jourdain probably by a decision. What do you think of it?
I like Jourdain too. Decisions sharp, probably. I would love for a finish though, you know, because like you said, ever since he's dropped down, he's really found his rhythm. He's putting it together, mixing his strikes with his grappling. Like, did he finish Davy Grant with the submission? Because I know the flying knee was how he got him. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
that's
guillotine.
crazy. Set up the flying knee the whole time, and then still subs him. I love that. Love it. And so it's just for the culture. I want Air Jourdain. But I mean, Kyler, he's still a sharp kid. I think he's just probably in his head a little bit right now.
Also, if you don't follow Charles on TikTok or Instagram,
He's
you
funny.
should. That dude is hilarious. I love his content. I love everything that he posts. Seems like a great guy. I'd love to meet him one day. Moving on, we have the main event. We have Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. This is gonna sound bad, but I've never been a Mike Malott fan.
For the
Like,
culture, I'm picking Burns, bro.
yeah, no disrespect to Mike Malott. Like, no disrespect to him. I'm sure he's a cool dude, and you know he's had some good moments, some good wins. Sorry, fucking allergies. He's had some good wins though in the UFC, but he's also had, like, I don't know if you want to say fraud check losses, but obviously the Neil Magny one was a bad look.
Kevin Holland wasn't a good
Kevin
win.
Holland, yeah, the Kevin Holland fight, like, multiple nut shots. The rest of the fight was just extremely slow. Nobody really went for it. I love Gilbert Burns. I'm a huge Gilbert Burns fan, and that's not because I work for Homa Fight. I literally love Gilbert Burns. The dude seems like such a nice guy. He's had some great fights in the UFC. He's beat some tough opponents, and I just think that the experience here for Burns, he took a lot of time off after that loss to Michael Morales, and I just think this is his bounce back moment. I think that he's going to be able to show off, you know, the skill gap here, and I like this as a bounce back spot for Gilbert. So give me Gilbert. How do you think it goes?
I think that Mike has a lot of paths to victory.
Mhm.
If he's sticking moves a lot, I think when it comes to striking, like just clean technical striking, Mike's got the advantage. But when it comes to wars, Gilbert's got that edge. Now he has come off a knockout loss, which I thought that fight I thought was crazy. You know, he was such a huge underdog. I was like, this is kind of nuts. But then Michael Morales did what he did. It's like, all right, I get it. And it's like, I didn't know if to blame it on Gilbert or Michael was just that good, but I think Michael's that good. I don't think we can write Gilbert off yet.
I agree. Michael is just a tough opponent for anybody at welterweight because he's so big and he's got so much power that, like, especially with like a Sean Brady or a Gilbert Burns, if you're more of a grappler, if you can't get in and get to the leg or the hips,
Just keep
you're
cracking
gonna
you.
have you're gonna have a tough time with Michael Morales. So not a bad loss by any means, and I just I don't know, man. I just think that Gilbert looks good, man. I don't know if you've seen him, but like it seems like the weight cut went extremely well. He looks shredded. He looks younger, to be honest, and I love this fight for him. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know that he's old, but he's been old for a minute now, and he was on like a 5-fight win streak at one point. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. But that is UFC Canada. I believe it's Winnipeg. Um, let's talk about some MMA news. We were just talking about this last week, but our guy, Yuri Prohashka, his wife had his baby. Yuri is a dad now. How do you feel about it?
I can't wait to see how this kid turns out. This is gonna be funny, dude. Like, can you imagine if she's out there in the woods with him punching trees and shit? And she's the next Ronda Rousey.
Nah, she'd be more of a Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
Good for them.
beautiful family. I'm excited, man. I think this is good for him as well because obviously coming off the loss last weekend, give him some time to kind of take his mind off fighting, focus on being a dad, spend some good quality time with the baby and his wife, and come back better. You know, come back focused, rejuvenated, and we'll see where he goes. But the next big story is Gable Steveson has officially signed with the UFC. That guy next to him, insane grappler, big jiu-jitsu guy. You guys need to know who that guy is. Now, all jokes aside, though, I went to the DBX event last week on Friday, which I actually gave a ticket out to a fan, so that was really cool. But yeah, we walked in. I went right to the bar to grab a drink before I found my seats, and to my surprise, I look up and there's just one person in front of me, and it's Gable. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Gable. So I'm like, hey Gable, can I get a photo real quick? And he's like, yeah, man, no problem. Took the quick photo, and he was like, you know, I appreciate you supporting me. And I even said, I was like, dude, I can't wait for you to get to the UFC. And he just kind of giggled and then was like, appreciate you, and then walked away. Literally the next night they announced that he signed with them. So I'm like, damn, this fucker, like, he kind of gave
He
me a
knew.
hint that he was
Yeah.
signed. Yeah. But it was really cool to see. I'm looking forward to his start in the UFC. I think that the heavyweight division is on fire right now. There's a lot of good prospects now. It's starting to get interesting, and I'm just curious who you think they should match him up with first, because obviously he's fighting International Fight Week. They said that that's where he's going to make his debut, but no opponent yet has been named. Who do you think they should give him?
Thomas Peterson.
Thomas Peterson?
Yeah. I think
That's a good one.
yeah, I think that would be a good, that's not going to be like a lot of name value to it or whatever, but that's someone that would be a pretty good matchup, the wrestling and I mean, he's not just a sluggish wrestler, Thomas, the train, I feel like he can at least still be kind of, third round is when he poured it on in his last fight. So I think that'd be a good test for Gable, but super excited for him. I think he is a breath of fresh air along with Hokit. And Not saying I necessarily want to see them fight yet, because that, I want to get a couple out of Gabe before he has like a really big MMA test.
Mm-hmm.
But him training with John Jones and everything, I can't wait to see his bag.
Yeah,
Well, you don't get to see a lot of it. He knocks people out in like 30 seconds every time.
Yeah, not to sound disrespectful, but I just think that Thomas Peterson isn't at that level, to be quite honest. I think that they're going to give this guy somebody with name value right off the rip. They're not going to waste time giving him, a Thomas Peterson or like somebody that is out of the rankings or, kind of like lesser known. One fight that I love, the moment that they announced that he was signed, that just popped into my head, Marcin Tybura. I think that fight is a banger because Marcin has hands. He's not terrible on the feet. And he also has great grappling. And we're going to get to see, if he fights Gable, is Gable's striking up to par at the UFC level? And then how's he going to deal with another big guy who's also a good grappler? I do think that Gable, obviously, with the Olympic level wrestling, will still be too much for Tybura. And I just think that I think it's a good layup for Gable, Like, it's not an easy fight, but it's definitely going to be one that's going to be competitive, and it has like some heavyweight name value to it.
I'd like that fight too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a banger. But that's all we have for UFC news. Obviously, this is a shorter week or a shorter episode this week. We've just had so many things going on. It's been a hectic week, and I didn't want to not get an episode out, so I'm glad that we still did it. I'm glad that we can still provide you guys with a little bit of insight. We'll make it up to you next week. We'll have a longer episode, more in depth on all the picks. We'll cover the whole card. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. That was episode 10. We hope you enjoyed the interview with Coach Jumbee at Jumbee Kickboxing, straight out of LA. He's got some killers over there. Obviously Taco is one of his students, one of his fighters, but he also has Jamal Emmers, and he was telling us in the interview that Jamal has been there for a long time as well. So definitely go give him a follow on Instagram at warchief.jumbee. He's a sharp mind in the game, and I'm excited to see what his fighters continue to do in the UFC. But thank you guys again. Zach, you got anything?
Man, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Make sure you tell your friends, all right? Tell your mom. See you next week.
Absolutely. I will be at RAF this weekend on Saturday. So if you're going to be there, if you follow me on Instagram, hopefully you do if you're seeing this, send me a message. We'll link up and see you guys next week.
This is Corner Talk.